You're watching Oilers Nation Everyday with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
For a guy who doesn't want to be a GM, Jeff Jackson sure is good at being a GM. Let's get into it with the lead. All right. Starting the show with some positivity, which is exactly how we ended yesterday's show.
Yep.
That is my truth. That is how I remember yesterday.
Yesterday was a movie.
We were originally not going to do a show today because for the summer, our schedule is going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But Jeff Jackson, when the rest of the league kicked their feet up and was like, you know what? Let's go into summer mode. GM started their drive up to the cabin or the cottage, depending on what part of the country they reside in.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Jackson said, I'm going to get to work. Yeah. No days off.
Not me. Not Double J.
Nope. From his living room. Pulls off a GMing masterclass.
It was crazy day.
And it also leaves me a little bit confused. We're going to get into all of that today.
Confused?
A little bit.
Interesting.
A little bit.
We did not do. I only got here at 11:55, so I really don't know which way the show is going to go today.
No, you don't. First off, we're coming to you live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online, sportscloset.ca. Looking for your takes in the Greta Bar YouTube chat as well. We got a ton of stuff to get to today on the program. We got a short for giant question. We're going to go around the league. Got a rumor report. We don't have anyone on the Star Mechanical guest line.
I don't think we need one today. I think we got plenty to talk about.
You want to see who I texted, though? Shoot your shot.
Shoot.
If he responds, we'll have him on the show. I have the odds of him responding, considering he is an active NHLer, at 3%.
That high?
I think so. It delivered, so it's his real number.
Yeah.
So we have that going for us, at least. Anyways, I am wearing an Avoid the Grind hoodie. Jeff Jackson not avoiding the grind. I'm wearing this hoodie because I think it matches my outfit, not because I'm avoiding the grind today. I'm working today. We're also doing a new episode of ONR. You were out at crew camp earlier today.
I was. It was good to be back out there. Hockey season really doesn't rest.
It doesn't. Also, shout out to Nico Jolly, who made me this hoodie. He's a beauty. Nico Jolly, Spiced Oil?
Oh, I didn't know his name. I never met him.
Figure it out.
Fair enough.
How was your Canada Day?
It was good. Obviously we had our shows here. I went home, had a quick nap, went over to my buddy's house, and then walked down to the Riverhawks game. They won 16-3.
That's a lot.
And I saw a home run.
There are home runs at the Riverhawks.
I know, but this one was awesome.
It's very far. It's a AAA stadium.
Yeah, it was legit. They kicked their ass. Port Angeles, I think.
Port Angeles lefties.
Which is Washington. I'm a very casual fan. Yeah. I don't know any of the players besides Tommy Takeosha, I believe that's how you say his name. And Riverhawks are great this year, 18-5 now. The lefties, unfortunately for them, 5-18.
Tough run, tough summer. That's a long bus ride home.
It is. The day before, they only lost 3-2.
Oh.
But sellout crowd, I believe it's the first one in Riverhawks history.
Sold out, brother.
And trust me, that place was sold out. 45 minutes in line, which, hey, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. Well, I am, because that was a long ass time to wait, but it is what it is. It was amazing to see everyone go out and support them yesterday.
Speaking of local sports teams, we're big Edmonton Stingers fans.
I watched the game I watched it on television yesterday.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
their games are on TV, which is
TSN.
There was a guy set a record.
Yeah, most threes in a game.
34 points, I think.
Yeah, he went 10 for 12 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, crazy.
Beyond the arc. That's how you know I'm a basketball guy.
League.
Yeah. There was Bobby Clark, I believe one of the players' names
Brody
was.
Clark.
Brody Clark.
U of A. Legend.
My friend who I was watching the game with is like, that guy was in my engineering program. There you go.
Stingers win 88-91 over the Rattlers. They are now 9-3 on the year. They are next at home this Friday. We're going to be giving away tickets to that on Thursday's edition of the show. So we're doing today, we're doing Thursday, and then after this week, we're doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I golfed yesterday. I golfed terribly on Sunday, and I haven't golfed a lot because we're busy with the Oilers playoffs. So my game wasn't in great shape. But then yesterday, I was dialed in.
What did you play?
Sandpiper, because it's the closest one to my house.
Nice.
And it was actually in really good shape. It was really good shape. Anyways, I needed a par on 18 to break 80 for the second time in my life. I triple bogeyed.
Oh no.
I didn't have every hole, first 17 holes, all pars and bogeys, no doubles. I had one birdie. I was dialed in. I was playing really good golf. And then I tripled 18. I was like, but I also had a bunch of drinks. So understandable. Understandable that things kind of culminated there at the end and whatever. And then I watched the fireworks from my roof.
Oh.
I also watched fireworks from my roof last night.
How easy is your roof to get on? Did you go out a window or
I grabbed the ladder.
Okay, so you ladder it up.
I had to extend the ladder as well.
Yeah. It's always a dangerous game.
I also had a couple drinks. So
yeah, climbing on the roof after a couple beers, probably not a great idea, but
I said former roofer right here. Most jacked, most tanned I ever was in the summer.
All right, let's get into the YouTube chat. Everybody should be in an awesome mood today. Crazier Jackson, this show is not about you guys.
Oh.
Well, considering my name is in the title of it, I would beg to differ. Jesus Christ, dude, it's July 2nd. Wait until you hear what we're talking about a month from now when we're doing this show in August. You're going to hate it.
Wait till Thursday.
Yeah, wait till Thursday, bro.
Yeah. Oh.
This is the show. This is the show with news to talk about, my boy. Speaking of which, I suppose we can get into that. Yesterday, the Oilers, they were busy, Liam.
Yeah, it was kind of incredible, to be honest.
It was something.
I think we all expected the Skinner one for them to at least be in the conversation. That was the rumor the whole day, and then the hits keep coming.
And they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming.
I mean, Troy Stetcher coming back, it was very surprising. I mean,
especially because, listen, we kind of were like, why is this dude getting his surgery now? Like,
yeah,
on,
I mean, comes back to you a deal. Good for him. Adds a bit more depth to that blue line. But for me, like, the Adam Henrique one was just
shocking.
The cherry on top of what was an incredible day. Shocking is, I think, an understatement.
Yeah. So, like, again, kind of going through it, they sign Arvidsson, and it's like, boom, there we go. We talked about it yesterday. We love it. I give that move like an A grade. I think it's excellent. Flash those back up just because I want the reference of like the whole shebang of the day. So we love that one. And then they bring back Corey Perry. Also, Connor Brown was earlier yesterday, and we loved that. Gave that an A grade as well.
Probably that first move of the day.
Yeah, Brown, then Arvidsson, both got A's. And then at the end of yesterday's show, they signed Corey Perry. And I don't like that deal. I still don't like that deal. I was upset about it in the moment. I don't understand why they felt the need to give him $1.4 million. I don't know why Perry felt the need to even go for $1.4 million. But it is worth noting it's $1.15 million against the cap, which is the maximum amount you could bury in the minors. So they cover themselves a little bit. The rest of it is all performance bonuses. So there's that. Okay. And part of the reason I was so angry with the Corey Perry signing is because when you see that, you go, oh my God, did they just choose Corey Perry over Mattias Janmark? And that's what pissed me off, because one of them is a supremely useful player. The other one was slow as a 38-year-old. What's he going to be in his 39-year-old season or whatever, right? But like even Final Buzzer said, Corey Perry's getting paid to be a mentor. Oh, in Bakersfield, I hope. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Because a lot of people are like, no, you need that veteran leadership. No, you don't. This core has been to the Stanley Cup final, the Western Conference final. They've played in 10 playoff series in the last 3 years or something like that.
Something like that.
9?
Yeah.
They don't need veteran leadership anymore. So that's why I didn't like the Perry signing, because it felt like it was closing the door on Janmark.
Yeah.
Felt like they maybe would have some room to grab another piece, and they ultimately do, signing Jeff Skinner to a 1-year, $3 million deal. Great. I love that signing. Again, maybe a bit similar to the Perry conversation. We can stop and have a conversation here about Skinner, but Gregor talked about it. We're like, okay, Jeff Skinner, you've made $99 million. Are you chasing a bag? Are you trying to get another little nice chunk of change? Or are you going somewhere to win? And I felt like Skinner should have come in a little bit lower, but at the same time, the Oilers would not be the only good team bidding for his services. And I like Skinner at 1 year, $3 million. I think that is a good value bounce back contract.
Yeah, I actually thought that was low enough, to be honest. I understand, you want to try and get every penny you can from him, but you are getting a guy that had 82 points only 2 years ago. 50 this past year, 25 goals, something like that.
Yeah,
right?
like no complaints. He's very good.
A legit player still. And the fact now, what was it yesterday? They got Arvidsson for $4 million.
Yeah.
And Skinner for $3 million. So you have $7 million.
And
combined.
those guys might score you a combined 50 goals next year. They should
really
actually.
Could, yeah. Two guys that productive at 5 and 5, especially Arvidsson next to Draisaitl. Like, I don't know. I didn't really. as long as it wasn't more than 3.5, I was always going to be okay with what Skinner brought to the table.
Me too. So I loved that. I thought the Skinner deal was great. But again, when we looked at the Perry deal, it was like, oh my God, this closes the door on Janmark. They end up getting Janmark done. They signed Skinner, and it's like, boom, there's our forward group. But they've closed the door on Adam Henrique. And then out of nowhere, they re-sign Adam Henrique.
Yeah.
And I love this deal. 2x3 is tremendous value. Arvidsson, Skinner, and Henrique for $10 million is like mind-blowingly good.
That's a first line on some teams. They're probably not great teams.
Well, maybe on the Ducks or the Sharks.
Well, Henrique had 27 goals last season. Arvidsson, whatever, he missed a lot of season. But like, just Henrique and Skinner last year had 50 goals combined, including playoffs. So it's a good second line.
They're all second line players.
Yeah.
On a lot of teams.
So, I mean, it's quite amazing what they were able to pull off yesterday. And there's a quote that came into my mind from what Jeff Jackson said from when he came here. He's like, we want to be the best in every category.
Yeah.
And he really set the tone yesterday of what whoever this new GM is going to be. Like, this is a standard. Like, Jeff Jackson decided yesterday that the Oilers are all in. This is something we've begged for 5 years under Ken Holland. And granted, he said it a few times, like, we're all in. I traded my first round pick. More do you want from me? Like, Jeff Jackson found every single penny he could within this organization to get it done. And I know they're significantly over the cap right now. And I think we all have an idea of what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have to sign Holloway and Broberg, but this forward group is remarkable. Like, I quite frankly don't know how it's going to fully line up because there's guys who can play everywhere.
Yeah, I did email you, by the way, AB, my depth chart I put together. Also, breaking news from Frank: Radek Faxa is being traded to the St. Louis Blues. So shout out Radek Faxa.
Really?
Yeah.
Former 12th overall pick.
Yeah, you're correct. All right, back to just sort of the Jeff Jackson conversation. Like, I do think credit where it's due. And you said the line yesterday, it made me laugh. And I was with you. Like, is Ken Holland still in charge? And it was kind of like, God. But I don't feel like Ken Holland would have had the creative juices to make this happen.
Ken Holland would have stopped after Viktor Arvidsson. Josh Brown.
He might have gotten him Skinner.
Yeah, I guess he has been able to get those guys who had needed that, right? So,
yeah.
But you're probably not getting Henrique back. Kane's probably playing a full season for you on one leg, no legs, whatever he's got left.
Yeah,
he didn't have it in him anymore. The creativity, and it just shows the staff that Jackson has been able to build, because he said, right, he's like, I don't want to be the GM, and I'm sure he led the way on this.
Yep.
But I also guarantee this was a group coming together and being like, we got to figure this out. They've hired a lot of different. They've made a lot of roles over the last couple of years. What's that one gentleman, the analytics guy they hired?
Michael Parcati.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had his fingerprints all over it. Although Josh Brown wouldn't scream.
But maybe Parcati was in a bit of like, okay, you can have Brown, but
I'm getting Henrique back.
Yeah, you got to get Henrique back. I mean, I'm sure hey, again, I do think there is, in terms of the analytics movement around the league, like, there are a lot of publicly available resources. Yeah. There are a lot of things behind the scenes that teams track that the public doesn't get to see. It's more than just your expected goals and whatnot, right?
Well,
so there is that.
Dave Tippett always said that. Well-known analytic darling.
Yeah.
Dave Tippett.
But I mean, there is a little bit of that too. Like,
for sure. Like, you can't just go off what natural stat trick tells you,
We love natural stat trick. We use it on pretty much every show we do. We're always tracking that kind of stuff, but it is, again, it's surface level stuff. When you talk about a high danger chance, like, it weights a high danger chance by Connor McDavid the same as a high danger chance from Warren Fogle. Yeah. And I can tell you right now, one of those guys scores on more breakaways than the other, right? So there is that as well. Okay. I want to talk about the salary cap picture though, Liam, because it is pretty confusing here. So we're going to fire up our friends at Puckpedia, and we're going to make this our Sherwood Ford Giant question of the show. It is brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant and their fantastic service department. Countless bays to get you back on the road. Their valet service to get you where you need to be while your vehicle is being serviced, or maybe even the mobile service van is for you. Comes to you. You're at work, boom, mobile service van pulls up, NASCAR pit crew style, boom, Car's ready to go. Shout out to Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Here's the cap picture right now, and your giant question is going to be, how do the Oilers make things work? So right now, according to our friends at Puckpedia, the Oilers are $2.4 million over the cap. That is, and I think this is obviously important in all of this, that is with 13 players signed and on the roster, 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 2 goalies.
Yeah.
So there are names on the roster that I don't think will be on the roster. They need to sign Holloway. They need to sign Broberg. But I think when you look at the way Puckpedia kind of has it lined up right now, take Josh Brown's $1 million, slide it over to Philip Broberg.
Sure.
Take Derek Ryan's $900K, slide it over to Holloway. I know people are going to be like, that's way too low. Well, neither of them played a lot in the regular season. Neither of them have arbitration rights. Remember the Ryan McLeod deal that one year? It was like $780K. It was basically league min. Dylan Holloway's only options and Broberg's only options are sign an offer sheet somewhere or take what the Oilers are offering you.
Yeah, I don't even know what their qualifying offer would even be, but I don't think they're getting any more than $1 million. No. Broberg, again, played 12 good games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Granted, great, did good job, earned a spot for next season, but he's got to do it for 82 games plus, and he just hasn't yet.
Yeah. So there are 2 obvious ways. So again, saying Josh Brown gets Broberg's money and saying Holloway gets Derek Ryan's money, just to make the math simple for now.
Yeah.
You're still $2.4 million over with 13, 7, and 2, which is a relatively full roster. That's what you want, right? That's a 22-man roster. Where there are a couple of different ways you could go about this. You could trade Ceci. That would be my preference, would be to trade Ceci. You could try and trade Evander Kane. I don't think you're going to have a lot of luck doing that. I know some people have connected him to the Anaheim Ducks as like hey, if you go to Kane, the Ducks haven't spent anything. If you go to Anaheim and are like, here's a guy who can be gritty and play in your top 9, you have all the cap space in the world, take him off our hands. Maybe he'd be willing to go to California. Maybe the Ducks would be willing to take a chance on him because they need to do something. Anaheim hasn't done it. It's embarrassing how inactive they've been. But regardless, you could try to trade Kane or you could try to trade Ryan McLeod. Now, my order of preference is Ceci, Kane, then McLeod. And the Kane and McLeod thing isn't even so much quality of player, although I do like Ryan McLeod. I like the versatility he brings your forward group. That's more of, I would love to get out of the term on Evander Kane's deal. But anyways, my preference is CC 1, Kane 2, McLeod 3. In terms of who's the easiest to move out of the bunch, McLeod's without a doubt the easiest to move.
Yeah, most potential.
And Mulek says McLeod's only making 2.1. Why trade him? Because then you could run with us. Like, I'm just saying trading McLeod is probably last resort kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's the number one.
It would be you're running with 12 forwards and 7 defensemen next year. You can make it work. You can kind of see how the math lines up in that regard. But I agree. He's on a decent contract. He's a decent player. I have no qualms with Ryan McLeod being an Oiler next season. I'm for it. I'm just saying if you are in a pickle, that's a name you can try to flip out. Was that BM at the door?
It was.
BM, I brought you a present.
Wonder what it could be.
Not my sunglasses.
Oh.
I'll take those.
Bag Milk really likes hotel pens, so I got you one from Circa.
I do. Like, have you tested it out though? Have you
I
given it a
used
go?
it. And I wrote down all the baseball bets I wanted to do when I was in Vegas.
Yeah,
and I turned $113 into $688 with that pen.
This pen is magic. Then
it is.
Well, I appreciate you. You know how I love hotel pens.
Exactly.
And people have gotten cheap with their hotel pens recently.
That's
Florida. Did you notice? Not even a pen in the room in Florida.
I know.
Garbage.
I love when you go into a hotel, there's a pen and a notepad.
That's what I want.
You don't always need it, but it's got to be there.
Sometimes that's all I want.
Yeah.
Listen, some people are shot glass people. Some people are magnet people. I'm a pen person. Thank you.
Go. Thank you, BM. You can hear BM's takes on what the Oilers have gotten up to on ON Radio later today, also on Oilersnation.com.
Can I read a quote on Jeff Jackson from Jeff Jackson on Kane's health?
That is where I wanted to go next. So absolutely.
This is from Jason Greger, by the way. He was going through an issue with his hip. We are going through the process to see what will occur, and he is getting the best care and advice from our doctors. We will discuss his options with his agent and get second opinions. This is where we're at, and nothing is planned, in brackets says rehab or surgery at this point, or just rest. I think that's where we're going.
It might be.
I don't think they would have brought in.
I don't think he would be bringing it up if there wasn't that option.
That too. And I don't know if they would go over the cap that heavily with the guys they have to resign too. I know you said the money kind of works still, but like without having a plan in place.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is the plan. You'll not be surprised night one before the Oilers take on the Winnipeg Jets. Kane finally got in for his surgery. He's back April 1st. Damn.
So to see the Oilers do it would be great because we've complained about other teams doing it. We've been begging for the Oilers to be creative for a while.
Yeah.
Okay. A few of us will have to eat our words calling it cheap and cheating because now we're going to be cheaters if this ends up playing out. The only thing that makes me nervous about that is like it needs to be legit, right? Like the people who are just like, you can't just make up an Evander Kane injury. If something's actually bugging him, sure. I also, and again, I don't love skirting around things like this, but I'm not an insider. I'm not someone who comes on and spreads rumors or whatever. But there have been some frustrations, I think, with the organization and Kane's injuries.
Well, he's been injured a lot recently.
He's been injured a lot. I think during the season, again, we had the whole issue of Chris Knobloch saying he's hurt, then Kane says he's healthy, and like,
yeah.
And I'll leave it at that. There's been frustrations with Kane's injuries and maybe how they're being handled or how they're being reacted to. Does Evander Kane want to be a third or fourth line winger in the NHL? Probably not.
No, but I think Evander Kane wants to play with good players. Like obviously a guy like Draisaitl. So if this happens and then he comes back in the playoffs and it's like, hey Evander, you are going to play alongside Dylan Holloway and Henrique.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot better than being like, hey, you're next to Fogle and McLeod.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, I just think.
I just wonder if maybe Kane's not looking at these moves being like,
I mean, hey, maybe that's happening too. And I mean, either one kind of benefits the Oilers, I guess. I would prefer him to stay. When he's healthy, he's a great player for this team.
Very good player. Yeah.
In the first round of the playoffs, he was solid against LA, very physical against Vancouver too. He was blowing up Quinn Hughes every chance he got. And he's good when he can be. The problem is these last 2 years, his injuries have been kind of crazy. Obviously, the wrist injury, the sports hernia, I suppose, and now this new one that he got in the playoffs too, which I believe was hip. Was it hip?
Yeah, hip or back or something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it's not like his injuries. I know we just talked about like him disclosing things, not disclosing things, whatever, and the miscommunications there. But like, there is evidence to prove that he has had legit injuries which have held him back. And like, when he was on Real Life that one time, he kind of brought up where he was at with his everything. And those injuries when you have cuts and your nervous system and everything, like they don't just recover overnight. So maybe this whole thing is just going to help him if he does go on LTIR for the season. It'll be great for him too, getting back on his feet and get his career kind of rolling in a great way. Because the end of season 2, what do you have, like 21 games where he didn't have a goal? Like, and he still finished with 21 goals. So I like Kane. I like him at his best. He just hasn't been there consistently enough through the injuries.
And again, if it's the Kane LTIR thing, that's the cleanest and simplest way to do that. But there is a part of me that's like, okay, but what happens if he comes back halfway through the season? Right? Like, I mean,
yeah, maybe.
And they'll have a plan. Like, this isn't, they're not just going to go into this and be like, well, hopefully things work out or whatever, because that's where you're going to get yourself in trouble. But, you know, they might think Kane is going to be out until the deadline.
So here's a question I was wondering last night when all this kind of started swirling. So if a player goes down to Bakersfield for a rehab stint, do they have to be activated?
You can have, it's like 15 days or something. There's a timeline. You can't just keep him down there for good.
So yeah, I knew that part. So if he went down hypothetically 2 weeks before the end of the season, played a few games in Bakersfield, got his feet back rolling, he wouldn't have to be part of the Oilers active cap.
No.
Interesting.
Only when you activate him.
That's probably, I guess, what would happen.
It could be what ends up happening. Or, I mean, listen, if this is something they're planning for, or this something they think is possible, Kane might also just sit there and be like, My wrist is bugging me. I have this sports hernia. My hip is bugging me.
Yeah.
Give me a year.
He actually should look at it that way because all that is true. Is all true. And he's a 30 goal, can be a 30 goal guy on his day. We saw it in the playoffs.
And it's not like he's ancient. He's 32.
He's not. He's got a couple of. What's he got? 3 more years left on his contract.
Yeah.
At least 2 of those years can be productive.
Someone in the chat said trade alert. The Sens are sending a pick and Matthew Joseph to the Blues for future considerations. Cap dump.
When's future?
Cap dump. Anyways, back to the Kane thing. I really do. There's a legitimate chance that happens. There's just some parts of it that make me nervous, and I wonder what plan B is, I suppose.
I'm just reading Wise Kyle's comment then. If Kane goes on LTIR till February 1st, he will fit under the cap as the Oilers will have 7 to 8 million in cap space.
That's not how that works anymore because it's LTIR. You can't, and that's the other downside of this whole thing happening, is you don't accrue cap space when you're in LTIR. Everything's got to line up.
But they would still, if Kane goes on LTIR, they would have 3 million in cap space then, unless they got someone else.
Well, so it's complicated, and we're back to doing this thing we've done now for the last couple of years. So right now, again, 2.45, right? With Broberg and Holloway not signed, 13 forwards, 7 defensemen on the roster. So they could run a smaller roster, but even then, if you were to put like Perry and Brown in the minors, you're still not cap compliant. Remember, you either want to be under and cap compliant and then put Kane on LTIR the first day of the season, or you want to be as close to that $5 million as possible and then put Kane on LTIR for the start of the season. You can't like flip on both sides. Do you get what I'm saying?
I think so.
You're either starting the season in LTIR, in which the Oilers they wouldn't get the gap between the 2.4 and the 5.1 is 3.7 or no, 2.7.
Okay. So they wouldn't get that much.
You wouldn't get $2.7 million in cap space. And OP and someone smarter than us watching will correct me if I'm wrong here, but you don't get that cap space. You either want to spend and be right at 5 or 5.1 and then put Kane on LTIR so you have that maximum amount of balance, or you want to start the season cap compliant with Kane on your roster, and that would require a bare bones roster where you move some guys down to the minors, and then you would put Kane on LTIR. And
so what would you do?
I'd spend up.
I would too. People keep asking for another defenseman. I mean, I suppose you could.
But I'm not even sure who you spend up for anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I was talking about this with a couple of my friends yesterday too. You probably just want to see what happens at the deadline.
Yeah.
Probably going to be better players there available than there is now. Well, not probably. There definitely will be. I don't even know who are upcoming free agents, of course, but that's what I would do. Get another defenseman later on. Give Broberg his runway, see what he can do. You've got Troy Stetcher now. You can see what he's all about.
The other thing, too, when it comes to potentially creating cap space at next year's deadline is like the Cody Ceci thing is a very easy, whoever you're negotiating with, hey, you're taking the last 2 months of Cody Ceci. He has no trade protection.
Yeah.
If you're trying to swing big, Ryan McLeod will have value, and it's a snap way to create $2.1 million. So you could go to another team if you're negotiating at the deadline and be like, hey, we want this defenseman. Here's Ryan McLeod in our second round pick, and you're keeping 50% kind of thing, right? Like, that's how you can kind of use that. Not the same situation, but like Barry, for example, had value, right?
Yeah.
Nashville took him on as a positive asset. McLeod would be a positive asset. CC's an easy enough throw in. I'm not really worried about deadline cap space, which is why I'm okay maximizing LTIR if that ends up being the move on Kane. And a lot of this conversation is obviously it's speculative because we don't know what's going to happen. But if that is the route, you spend up.
Yes. I agree. I'm just looking at let's get ahead of ourselves.
Oh, are we doing way too early deadline options for next year?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Oh, should we make it a sponsored segment?
May as well.
We should make it our rumor roundup for our friends at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. It is summertime. Get out. Enjoy the weather. Sherwood Power Sports and Marine has everything you need to get out on the water. Fishing, boat accessories. Boom. Maybe you're more of a land guy. Personally, me, land guy.
Same.
That's why I'm looking at the e-bikes, the e-scooters. I want one of those, like the bird scooters, but I want my own. I want one so bad. I think I would get a lot of use out of
A
it.
bird.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Not the birds that
Go
are
to your
stuck in
local pub and back, you know?
Yeah, I think that's
little
legal.
Sunday evening.
Yeah, I'm only having one.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be fine.
Kidding.
Okay.
Kidding. Calm down. Everyone calm down. It's a joke.
So
It's a scooter joke.
yes, it is. Okay, so we're gonna obviously like guys like Brent Burns and all of are available, but they're not leaving Carolina unless something crazy happens there.
Yeah.
Adam Lawson is an upcoming free agent.
Oh, there's 2 former Oilers that I'm ready to start beating the drum of.
Are you on defenseman or forwards?
I'm on everybody.
Okay, I'm only looking at defenseman. So who's your forward? Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall twice retained for Ryan McLeod in a 2nd-round pick.
Oh,
Who
boy.
says no?
No, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. People say
Book it, write it down, put it in wherever our show notes are. July 2nd, 2024, 12:31 p.m. Tyler Yaremchuk predicts Ryan McLeod 2nd-round pick for Taylor Hall twice retained.
People say
I will write that down. I will
Adam
keep
Lawson.
that in a bottle.
Put it on the wall.
wouldn't come back. Ryan S said it there. Adam Lawson has a modified no trade clause. If Seattle's out of the picture and you say, hey, can you go to Edmonton for 3 months? I think
Chance to win a cup.
You're more likely to be able to swing that than re-sign him in free agency.
100%.
I don't think you would get him back. Maybe that's a reason why the Oilers wouldn't want to get him as well, just because of something like that. Ethan Bear's a pending UFA.
Well, no. I think they just re-upped him, though.
Oh, did they re-up him?
Yeah.
Brian Dumoulin. The defensive market actually isn't that.
Can
awesome.
Well, I'm on Cap Friendly right now.
Me too.
RIP.
Rest in peace.
Sorted by points. These are from points they produced last year.
Defenseman.
These are the, in order, UFA defensemen for next year's deadline.
Yes.
Burns, McCabe, McNabb, Orlov, Cece. So Cece's top 5 in points in this group.
25 points.
Maybe that's a guy you look at.
Yeah, that's a good
Cheap.
idea.
Cece retained 50%. David Savard in Montreal. He's not that good anymore, but would he be okay for a playoff run?
Third pairing defenseman.
Petrie stinks. Orlov's
Jan
a lefty.
Ruda is an interesting name. Cup experience. Play either side.
Shoots right, but not there. Like when I look at this list, the only one who I look at, and it's not even on Ekholm's level, but it's Ekholm minor. The only one I look at on that list is Larson or Burns if he somehow shakes loose.
But what doesn't make a lot of sense. Alec Martinez,
Lefty.
He's a lefty, which sucks. But
Lefty,
also,
old, slow.
You just went through a full run with Broberg as a righty, but I know his skating
Lefty,
maybe
old, slow.
benefit a bit more.
I think you know what we're rooting for next year. We're rooting for the Carolina Hurricanes to somehow suck.
Yes, I think we are, because there's not a lot.
No,
There's not a lot. Like Ethan Bear, but you said they re-upped him.
yeah, but I mean, you
Okay.
can also look at guys with term, right? Like, I mean, the Oilers could be in the mood to do something like that, especially when you kind of look at the state of their right side. Because if you go one more year, defenseman who could be available at the deadline with one more year remaining on their deal, John Carlson. But Washington's trying to win.
They're
They probably
trying to dig deep.
Mattias
into that.
Ekholm would be a good target. Shoots left though. Darren Radish in Tampa Bay. He's a righty. He puts up points.
That's who everyone thought they were going to try and trade for yesterday when
Yeah.
they were talking about big defenseman.
Josh Manson, no. Goodbranson stinks.
I've
Jeff
heard-
Petrie's 37.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
old.
I know.
Oh,
Remember
Radko Gudas, but I don't want to acquire Radko Gudas with term.
Remember we traded him for a second and a fifth.
Jensen.
Who did that turn into?
Yeah, the market actually might not be that good.
So the Jeff Petrie trade. Oh, interesting. So Jeff Petrie, when the Oilers traded him to Montreal, was a 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick. The 2nd round pick was flipped and turned into Jonas Siegenthal.
Oh,
So he been in the draft rights was traded to the New York Rangers.
pending UFA forwards who could be available at next year's deadline. This is just next summer's crop of
I pulled
UFAs.
that up already. Too.
Oh, you ready for this? Sidney Crosby. Okay, I'm going to say the name. You say if you would like to see him in an Oilers jersey one day.
Okay,
Sidney Crosby.
I'm in.
Gustav Nyquist.
Yes.
Brock Nelson.
Yeah. 34 goals.
Brad Marchand.
Yes.
Matt Duchene.
Yes.
John Tavares.
No.
Claude Giroux.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would do a year. I would do 3 months of Claude Giroux.
Yeah. Jamie Benn,
Frank Vetrano.
Do you know there's a name on there that I kind of scrolled down a little bit further? I wouldn't mind. Yanni Gord.
He's a bit of a prick, hey? Is he good or is he just a prick?
Yeah, I think he's a good player.
Yeah, he's good.
Do you remember when he got that major last year?
I remember something.
He got a major against the Oilers this year.
Yeah, he did. It led to a comeback. I was at the game with my friends from Betway. Shout out Betway.
Shout out Betway.
What a night.
19 plus, please play responsibly.
Yeah, 19 plus, please play responsibly.
Curtis Lazar, bring him home.
Andre Kuzmenko, feet touched.
Do you think Calgary's not going to do that, though?
No, God, no. I think they might trade him, but anyways.
Yeah.
So Tyler Mulick says it's crazy. We don't even need forwards. So again, shout out to Shirt Power Sports and Marine. That was our rumor roundup, a way too early look ahead at next year's deadline, where we've identified Taylor Hall and Adam Larson as the clear-cut targets.
We really dug deep. Maybe Jeff Petrie.
Yeah.
Petrie is our 7. Who says no?
It back.
Yeah,
Ryan S says Ryan Spakowski says Tyler needs to visit Great Clips. My hair is a little wacky. This hat's super tight though, so I got to keep taking it off to massage my hair. That's the problem here. But this isn't that long. My hair's been longer. You guys have seen it longer.
The Jeff Petrie trade tree is nuts.
All right.
But the Jonas Siegenthaler one is crazy because he just kept getting traded for draft picks. He's been traded 4 times. He's 27. Wow. Go on.
He's a good player.
He is a good player.
Okay, shout out. That's our rumor roundup. I did again, Mulick said it's crazy we don't even need forwards. Aaron, flash up my depth chart / somewhat. These aren't even projected lines. This is depth chart. If you find a way to make this work, if that's night 1 of the playoffs, that's insane. Crazy good.
That is kind of crazy. I don't know where Holloway is going to fall.
So I actually, if we had to build lines, I'm fascinated by the idea of Skinner and McDavid.
I was just thinking that. Bring down Nuge.
Yeah.
That's what DFO has.
That's the DFO lines?
Because then your 4th line is Brown Mark featuring Rico.
Oh, and they have Nuge as a 3rd line center, so that's never going to happen. Yeah. That 3rd line would not be good at all.
No. That would be actually pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I know, so I tweeted this and people were like, oh, you can't, that second line wouldn't be playing a lot of defense, blah, blah, blah. So again, I think if you bump Nuge to the second line, Nuge, Dry, Arvidsson could actually be really good. Skinner, McDavid, Hyman could actually be really good. And then you're running a 3rd line that's Holloway, Rico. And if they're LTIR and Kane, it would be Holloway, Rico, and Perry.
Holloway, Rico, yes.
And then Brown, McLeod, Janmark. Or, no, you keep together the goated 3rd line from the playoff run then, and you go Henrique, Brown, Janmark, and then you also just have another 3rd line that is McLeod, Holloway, and Perry.
Can I tell you my lines?
Kane line.
So I would go first 2 lines. First line the same. I would have Skinner next to Draisaitl to start all the way on the 3rd line with Henrique, Brown. And then my 4th line would be Janmark, McLeod, and I think Perry. But I'm also very intrigued by Lavoie.
Me too, because I would love to get a look at a line that would be Holloway, McLeod, Lavoie, kid line it.
Because
love a good kid line.
Lavoie, what does he have to? You can't send him to Bakersfield again. He's too good. What do you have? 30 goals again this season, back-to-back goals of 30. You either got to move on from him or give the guy a chance. And I think you've got to give him a chance. I know in the preseason, they're going to give him every opportunity. But for me, it brings an aspect of something the others might not have in that bottom line. You have Perry and all that, and great. Awesome. Perry and his leadership. Fantastic. But Lavoie, scoring touch. But we spoke about it with Greg yesterday, penalty killing. We'll have to get Bruce on at some point, but I'm sure Bruce said he kills penalties in Bakersfield. So maybe that's what you do. You experiment with him throughout the season, see what he's capable of, and who knows, maybe he just becomes an asset for you and you can move on from him. But you've got to find out what this 6'4" winger who's been ripping apart the American League for 2 seasons, 3 seasons in a row, really, 2.5, can do for you in the NHL. He deserves it, and they've shown that they respect their players enough with guys like Picker, they give an extra year. Even Troy Stetcher, giving him a 2nd year. I think it's time to give Lavoie a chance. And someone mentioned Costin. Different player, but you gave Costin a chance to get 10 goals. Yep. And some big playoff goals, too.
Someone said Costin for Cece.
No, Costin sucks now.
Well, that too. But you also have to dump CC. Like, you can't bring back another contract.
Yeah.
Trading CC for like a $2 million forward only makes sense if there's another move that's trading McLeod. And you're like, okay, we're dumping CC, or we're swapping CC for a forward. Then we're swapping McLeod for a second round pick, and we're cap compliant now, and we have our forward. But
I think this is the fight. Do you remember a while ago? And I should just watch it. Yeah, this is it. When Jujhar Khaira got KO'd on the ice.
yeah,
Josh Brown did that to him.
okay.
And
We hate him.
I just think
Thought it
that's
was-
the toughness that they're trying to bring to the team. And I guess that's the best Oilers example I can give.
All right. How did we get on Josh Brown? you
I
just
saw
wanted
it
to
on
bring that up.
Twitter.
Okay.
Hockey Fights tweeted it. Shout out Hockey Fights.
13 to retain $1 million on Costin for like a fifth. No, I'm not jumping through the hoops of getting third teams involved for Klim Costin. I love him. And he came here and he wore an Oilers jersey in the playoffs, and he's a great guy, and he loves Edmonton, loves the team, loves the city. And I love him for that. Put your heart aside. They don't need Klim Costin. Pull up my projected lines again, or my depth chart. They do not need Klim Costin. Look at that forward group. I know it's not cap compliant, but still,
It's awesome.
yeah. It's like going on a date with someone way out of your league. You know you're only getting one date, but damn it, it's fun to look at this.
Yeah.
Gonna end that analogy now, actually. Just
Well,
gonna,
one of us gets in trouble.
yep, just gonna keep moving on. Yesterday, I kind of insinuated you were single. I didn't even mean to do that.
Me?
When Gregor was like, yeah, after a breakup, and I looked at you and I was like, thoughts? And then I was immediately like, why would Liam have thoughts on that? Happily taken, ladies.
Do you know what's funny is
A couple of you sniffing around, I know, but
so Lance messaged me the other day. Yeah, you're
Tyler,
really
turn off my
doing
mic for
that.
like
His
3
bag
minutes.
right now. Let's go.
Lance messaged me the other day, and
about going on a date?
well, no,
Turn
but
off
this
my
was interesting. He was like, what are you doing July 21st? I was like, that's kind of weird. I was like, nothing. And then he's like, I have 2 tickets for the orchestra. He's like, I heard your special day got canceled because of the strikes and you couldn't get to Kelowna. I'm like, what? I am going to Kelowna, but I don't have anything special going on there. Turns out he messaged the wrong Liam. But this guy's also trying to get to Kelowna, and his flight got canceled, and his special day is gone. It's not me, but I thought it was very interesting. So Lance offered me tickets, took him away from me. So now I'm not going to the orchestra.
Lance knows another Liam who's also going to Kelowna this month,
Yeah,
who also likes the orchestra.
I guess so.
And this Liam is proposing to his girlfriend in Kelowna.
Yeah, ain't me. Sorry.
I think Andrea paid Lance to send this message to you.
Yeah, that's probably
Just
it.
to plant the bug.
Not surprised. Yeah,
Sounds like you and that other Liam would be best friends.
sounds like we got a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hopefully WestJet figures out their shit.
Yeah, I see it.
Which one?
The one about.
Sadistic Angels with Doug Waite.
Oh yeah, we can't. We're
With?
not going Mr. Steal Your Girl on Dougie
Yeah.
Waite.
Oh,
I'm not doing that.
whoa.
Mulek says he'll buy you orchestra tickets.
That's okay.
Call Charm Diamonds, get a ring on it. Shout out Charm Diamonds, not a partner on the show right now,
Yeah.
but they'll be back next
You're
year.
now in the Greta live chat.
Yeah.
Very few sponsors left.
God, there was one comment I actually wanted. Someone, honestly, Holloway playing bottom 6 helps us right now with this next contract. Here's the other funny thing about us doing this. If someone would have told you, really at any point last season, up until the trade deadline, the Oilers are going to make Game 7 of the Cup final. Yes, awesome. Their best line in that game will be Henrique, Brown, and Janmark. The point I'm making here, and their second pairing will be Nurse and Broberg. You could have told me that at any point during rounds 1 and 2, and I would have been like, oh my God, did Bouchard die? Like, he's dead, right? He's not playing anymore. It's fickle. As much as we can sit here and go, this guy should play with this guy, move him here, we are going to see 30 different line combinations throughout the season. We're going to have injuries that need to be dealt with and all of that stuff. It's not like they're going to set a line and run. So the whole point is get good players and figure it out. And if you need a mix and if you need to add something or some guy who can help you in this one specific area, niche player, they're in a spot right now. AB, flash up my lines. Again, if Kane's LTIR'd, sure, you can put Perry there and it's fine for the regular season, but they have one open spot in their forward group, in my opinion. And it's the Kane LTIR / Perry spot, whatever you want to call it. That's your one spot to go acquire a niche or niche fit for the forward group. And on the blue line, it's also very easy to look and go Cody Ceci spot. That is your one upgrade spot. That is where you go at the deadline and hunt for it. So anyways, that's my rant.
See, I'm gonna push this into the stratosphere. Cody Ceci was pretty good next to Kulak in the playoffs.
He was much better.
And if the Oilers go a season and have Kulak and Ceci giving it what they've got and they're pretty good, it's about getting the guy with Nurse. And I understand the money and that. But, like, I'm not that worried about Ceci being a third-pairing defenseman. I get his money again. But he was good. And this team, this blue line, will get you to the deadline, no problem.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Get to the deadline and then upgrade on CC, play Broberg with Kulak, find a partner for Darryl.
Yeah, that's kind of the strategy. I'm not too worried about that right now. And also, one thing to consider, this team is a very good defensive team. I know it's not a word we associate with the Oilers very often, but go back and look through the playoffs. There was so many times where defensively they were fantastic. They don't give up a ton of great chances. Their mistakes look so brutal because they make very few of them. This blue line is going to be fine. The forward group will help them. Maybe it doesn't look. Maybe they do have a 500 start to the season. We can all panic about it. But like, they should have got a defenseman, which I'll probably say game 11. But ultimately, this group will be fine. This defense will be fine because their goalies are good.
Yeah,
the defense is good. This forward group is good.
Yeah, totally. I was gonna do winners and losers today, but let's not. Let's save it for Friday or Thursday because we're gonna need. Are you in on Thursday now?
Yeah, I'm in. I rescinded my 3 days off.
So you're not going to Kelowna?
No, I am. I was supposed to have 3 days off today, tomorrow, and Thursday.
Oh, because crew camp.
But now it just kind of all worked out.
It worked out. So you rescinded. Are you
officially rescinded?
Are you working on vacations? Are you double dipping? Or did you just get your vacation days back? Because we're a real company now. We have vacation days.
Got them back.
Okay.
Yeah, we are a real.
We have
now.
vacation days, but no one. If you were to walk around our office and be like, "How many days vacation you get in a year?" No one would be able to answer you.
Nope. I just
take them.
Put them on the spreadsheet. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just assuming I got them back. I guess
we got like a 2.5 month spot here to take. Something.
Yeah.
Can I say,
just like you can leave at some point in the next 2.5 months, but just check back in at some other point.
I got another. I'll give you one loser as a teaser to everyone.
Oh, tease.
I just don't really know what the Ottawa Senators are doing. Like that's my tease. You get Linus Ullmark. I understand why they traded Chychrun, but they're just like so here, there, and everywhere. One season you get into DeBrincat, he leaves. Now you have Giroux. I just don't know who they are. I could 100% see them being the worst team in that division next year.
Who?
Montreal. Ottawa.
Oh, yeah.
It's just crazy to me. Linus Ullmark is going to be a wanted man at the deadline.
Did I not put the disclaimer on real life?
I don't know what you mean.
I think one of my other losers could be Detroit.
Yeah. Well, they missed out on Stamkos. They didn't get a goalie. You seem distracted.
I am super distracted. What?
Liam, answer Troy's question.
Troy's question. Boardsy. Oh, okay. When are we expecting Brober? Honestly, it could happen any day in the summer. I wouldn't put a deadline on it at all.
Same thing with Draisaitl's extension.
They're qualified.
It'll get done.
They're fine. Draisaitl is the biggest news, but also like what more can the organization now show them?
Yeah.
Be like, we got you 2 wingers. One of them had 41 goals once. I think Skinner has a 40-goal season under his belt, or at least very close to. Draisaitl should be licking his chops right now. Apparently, it might be McDavid's bachelor party.
He is at McDavid's bachelor party, confirmed.
So I hope they're having a good time. Mistaken Mexican said Detroit have 2 goalies. Jack Campbell.
They have 3 goalies.
Cam Talbot.
Huso?
I don't know. I just thought they were going to go out and do a little bit more. Can we talk about
just to wrap up on Troy's point, he says it seems unusual to hold out when they can't bargain. It's not even holding out.
They're they're not priority because they're restricted free agents. This happens all the time.
Jeff was busy yesterday.
Do you remember when they originally signed Ryan McLeod to his RFA deal after? That was pretty close to the start of the season, if I remember correctly. So that's what RFAs do.
Don't hold your breath.
Okay, can we talk about the elephant in the room?
Yes, me not paying attention.
No, that's fine. I'll do that too.
Oh, do we really have to do this one?
Yeah, we have to. I think it's
I know
important. Stan Bowman could not become the general manager of this team. And I understand people are going to have the pushback of like, he served his time, all this. I don't care. Let another team deal with that. Because all I can picture in my head now is him becoming the general manager, and then everyone stood around Connor McDavid in the dressing room being like, what do you think of Stan Bowman being the GM after everything that happened in Chicago? And then he has to answer to that. And it's just not a good idea. This organization has attempted to do this numerous times. We all have our opinions on Evander Kane and what happened. He was literally proven innocent and has full custody of his child.
Yeah.
Like, that is a thing. Corey Perry, I know we don't know the full scope of that, but they gave him. It's been fine. Jake Vatanen was a huge miss and idiotic. Maybe Cassian, another one, I suppose, but maybe a little bit different if I'm remembering that correctly. Either way,
a little. Yeah.
Like, we don't need to have Stan Bowman here. And also, I know he won 3 Stanley Cups. That's great. That is not something you just do by turning over in your sleep. But he also didn't have a good run at the end of his time in Chicago with his management stuff. Like Tyler Johnson, Seth Jones contract.
Are those him?
Seth Jones is basically the reason Don on this as a contract he has. So thanks, Stan Bowman, but not here. We do not want you. Jeff Jackson could not go through this entire process, doing everything he's done, and be like, Stan Bowman's our guy now. Also, it would just ruin it. It would just ruin the good mojo we all have right now about this team.
100%. And I'm so with you on that. Okay, a couple of things here. Tom is in. He's a Hawks fan. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying the show. Tom said, Hawks fan here. Do not, I repeat, do not hire Bowman. He used it.
Nice.
He is also an awful GM with the cap. It would be a horrible PR hit, abort mission. I'm with you. I'm 100% with you on that. Tyler Mulick, Stan Bowman's actions directly led to a minor being assaulted, full stop. So, like, that's where I struggle with this. And, you know, Bashan makes a good point. Because I am someone who's like, hey, man, like, I hate to see one decision ruin a person's life in any way, in any regard, right? Okay. But Bashan does say it's a privilege to work in the NHL. They don't deserve to work in the NHL just because they're reinstated. And I also think, and I'm not the most well-versed person on what happened there. Yeah. And we know
the Cole's notes of it.
We know the Cole's notes of it. Yeah. We don't know the minutia. We don't know behind the scenes how things maybe were or weren't handled. But he knew to some extent what was going on.
Yes.
There were letters of recommendation written for Brad Aldrich after he left Chicago. Those letters of recommendation were used for him getting jobs in which he had contact with minors, in which a minor was assaulted.
Yeah.
I don't, even if you want to sit here and throw the second chancing, which I like second chances. I'm being very clear with that. I was fine with Kane. My concern was he's going to wear out his welcome, and he has. I was fine with Kane. I was fine with Perry, knowing what I know about that situation as well. I was fine with Cassian at the time. Second chances. This is a little bit different to me. This isn't, you made a mistake one night. You had too much to drink, did something stupid. Cassian had his problems, right? Like, and I don't think I'm speaking out of turn saying that. This doesn't feel like one decision. It's not like Stan Bowman was throwing a letter. Hey, would you give this guy who used to work for us a letter recommendation, sign off on that? And Bowman went, yeah, sure. Why not? Signature. Enjoy. This was more than that. Could he be a good GM? Yeah. Could he be a bad GM? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it going to be a nasty PR hit regardless? Like, what's the upside here, I guess, is my thing.
That is the question, isn't it? That is the ultimate question. Like,
yeah.
What is he going to do to make this team any better? I don't know. I just can't see this being good at all. And I know you don't typically hear from general managers often, but they already have Nicholson with all his Hockey Canada stuff who they've for some reason kept around. But let's get that guy out of here too.
My eyes might not come back to the front of my head after seeing you mention that. Yeah.
Just it's this organization cannot keep going in this direction. They have a history of it. Some players, some people, I should say, deserve the second chance. Others don't. And I am on the side of like Stan Bowman, like you said, just because you've been reinstated by the NHL, which probably shouldn't have happened either.
also they news dumped the shit out of that, putting it
Totally.
right at the end of free agency day. So like, you ain't slick, NHL.
Yeah. So my final statement on it is just stay away. There's plenty of other candidates. There's probably guys in your organization who'd be a better GM than what he would be right now. And again, just looking at the actual on ice product, and the gentleman named Tom?
Yeah.
He even said, he's like, Dave Talon made that dynasty and then got fired, and then Bowman took it over. It's just, no, we're good. Hire Tyler. Someone said that yesterday. Get away from that keyboard and get out there. Get throwing some more
Also, go
balls.
read the TikTok comments, and I hate when I even open them because I, at this point in my career, know better than that. But opening up the TikTok comments of my Perry rant and just seeing people being like, "Who this moron? Shut up, Tyler. No one wants to listen to you talk." And it's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just don't bring in Stan Bowman. We're good. I only want good vibes around this team. And listen, like, I don't know Stan Bowman personally. I don't know the remorse he feels about this. Like,
for sure.
I don't know if he spent the last 2 years. I don't know if he spent the last 2 years trying to do right in some regard, right? Like,
yeah,
we don't know certain things, but God, just stay away from this one.
Don't know.
Selfishly, I don't want to talk about it.
I noticed we kind of buried it as well.
Well, we kind of did, but also there was actual fun stuff to talk about. But you're right; it's important.
I would like to know more candidates. You know, Jeff Matheson,
Mark Hunter.
I think you two would be great candidates.
Jim Matheson.
I wouldn't hire him.
No.
I'd be against. And I like Jim. We have good exchanges. Saw him at the Cup final.
Yep.
Great guy, Jim. I don't want you to be the GM, buddy.
He put out a tweet of a list of candidates, and there was one on there which is very intriguing to me. Now, I should have looked this up, but it just came into my head. His name's Ryan Hardy. Now, he was the general manager of the Chicago Steel in the USHL for a few years.
Oh, they were good.
And they were rolling guys through. Owen Power was there. Coronado. Tons of guys. Go look at their rosters. They've had so many top players go first-round NHL players and transform that franchise. And he went to Toronto. Now, he's some kind of somewhere in there. I think he would be a great candidate. He's also kind of young. He's only like 41, 42. He has a great mind. I think that might be a long shot, but knowing Jeff Jackson, he's not afraid to go out of the box on things. I haven't heard his name mentioned other than that, but someone to think about other than that we shout Voldemort. We'll call him Voldemort from now on. Kind of looks like him.
I got a bad feeling it's going to be Stan Bowman.
I know it's going to be him, and we're all going to be pissed. But unfortunately, we just can't do anything about it.
Melik saying Matthew Darsh. I would love Matthew Darsh.
Who's that one?
I don't even want Hunter either. Mark Hunter, that is, not the cat. I don't even want Mark Hunter that bad, but I will take my medicine of Mark Hunter if it means not Stan Bowman.
Oh, so. Celebrini. Of course.
He was
Celebrini was Chicago too. Yeah, what they were able to do there is something very few other junior programs in the junior A style in North America have been able to accomplish.
Whoever steps in,
good.
Jeff just sets you up for success. So
yeah, you don't have a lot to do.
Year one on the job is
it's pretty easy.
You have 6 months to figure out how to acquire a top 4 defenseman. That's like your only project.
Yeah.
And sign Draisaitl to a franchise-changing extension.
Oh yeah.
Who's the source on Frank being our number one target? Frank did bring it up yesterday.
Yeah, Frank brought it up. Unfortunately,
I don't want Sam Bowman. I'm good. On Got Your Back, Ryan Rashog brought up Matthew Darsh as a possibility. That'd be great.
Wait, who is Matthew Darsh?
Former player. Was with the Lightning front office for a bit.
Where is he right now?
Probably at home.
Ryan Hardy is the general manager of the Toronto Marlies.
Darsh is... Oh, he's the younger brother of long snapper JP Darsh.
Oh, the great JP.
Yeah. So bring him into the Elks. He's still with Tampa, assistant GM in Tampa.
Well, they're ruthless to their players, and with Leon Draisaitl's contract coming up, I don't know if I want him.
No, you wouldn't be ruthless to Leon.
That's what they said about Steven.
Lyle says JJ kind of squashed the Bowman rumors. Did he?
Did he? I hope so. Sean Horkoff. I brought up his name. I'm starting not to love that idea.
Who? Hork?
Sean Horkoff. Sean Horkoff is the director of player development in Detroit.
He's not an AGM yet. Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say it. Besides the top guys, Detroit aren't exactly breeding
Oh, we'll get to the
talents right now.
That was a long pause after reading.
Yeah. We'll talk
Why
about the
not?
Yzer plan on Thursday. This is going to be a weird summer on this show.
We actually
be
had stuff
fun.
to talk about today too.
Yeah, I know. Barely had time for the Betway Other Sports Report. Gregor had the quote from Lyle. Okay, I'm going to go find it. Show us my list of what?
Oh yeah,
Cody.
we should do lists this summer.
Yeah, we could do lists.
I can't wait till we get Olympics rolling.
Yeah, me neither. If that one guy earlier who was pissed we didn't get right into the hockey. First off, listen, there's a lot of you watching today, and I'm very happy and I'm very thankful. And I hope all of you stay around for the whole summer because we're going to have fun.
Yeah.
We're going to race at one point.
Yeah, I don't know when that's going to be.
We'll figure it out.
I'll stop
So we're going to have a fun summer. So I hope you all stay around. But if you were expecting us on, throw out a date, July 26th, to be like, all right, who should be taking D-zone draws on the right side next year? Like, we're not doing that. I'll go insane. We'll get some interviews. We'll mix things up throughout the summer. Feet touched.
There's going to be dumb jokes.
Yeah, like, good Lord, we got to do this thing 3 days a week. We'll find ways to make it entertaining, and it won't be through just straight hockey talk the whole time.
I wonder if we can get Vinny on the show.
Vinny D?
No, he's gone. A couple of weeks, maybe we'll give it a go.
I don't know. We don't exactly. Our show doesn't have the best reputation in the Canucks organization. Why? What happened? Certain clip that their owner got their hands on.
Well,
maybe we can get Francesco on the show.
Yeah, get his response. We can't get the response from anyone else.
Go to hell. Anyways,
I'm sure many Canucks fans would have liked to have told him that like 2 years ago too.
Yeah, that too. We didn't have time for the Betway Other Sports Report. Shout out to our friends at Betway.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up with you.
Well, shout out to Betway. You can get a free bet worth up to $200. Simply head over, scan the QR code on your screen, create an account, place a wager. Boom. Bet loses, you get credit.
You made a tweet about the draft when the Oilers took a goalie in the second round.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Why?
Because I view everything through the lens of being able to trade these assets for help. And I think Stuart Skinner is going to be your starter for the next decade, so you don't need a goalie.
Did you see his hype video?
I did see his hype
Because
video.
it was electric.
Kind of cool.
He was the #1 European goalie. And goalies take like 6 years to get good.
Fair.
Do you remember who the Oilers drafted before they got Skinner? The goalies? Olivier Waugh, Dylan Wells.
Oh, yeah.
And then they got Skinner. And then they got the Russian fella, Konovalov. And then they got Rodrigue. So you kind of got to draft one every year just to
keep taking darts.
Yeah.
But second round just seemed like a bit much. I didn't love it. Anyways,
Yeah.
Best player available. Sure. I get it, Cody. It's fine. I don't have like a massive gripe with it.
No, I don't either.
I was just kind of like, man, would like to see someone who could play in 2 years.
Maybe you will.
Yeah, maybe. Okay,
Oh,
that's a wrap.
Lyle literally just tagged us in a Daniel Nugent-Bowman tweet about Jeff Jackson. Said, Oilers CEO of hockey operations, Jeff Jackson, said he's so busy with free agency that he hasn't thought about Stan Bowman as a GM. There you go.
Let's go.
That's it. Now that's a wrap.
Yeah, that's a wrap. What are you doing tonight?
Camp. I got to go back after this.
I'm going and practicing my Bannock throwing. I'm in a Bannock tournament this weekend.
Oh, that's your Ukrainian thing in Vegreville.
No, it's not Ukrainian, and it's in Bashaw. But you throw artificial horse ankles at other artificial horse ankles. Yeah. They're plastic artificial horse ankles, and you throw them at other plastic artificial horse ankles. And you got to knock them all down in a certain order. You play it in a barn, play for cash.
What's
if anyone in the chat,
how do you spell that?
Yeah, throwing bones. Tyler Mulick knows what's up. Bunnock. Bannock. Connor says it's a fun game. If anyone in this chat right now, if anyone in this chat is going to be in the Bashaw Bannock tournament, I will.
Where Bashaw is.
Case of beer on me.
Right.
I will bring it to Bashaw and we will share beers.
There you go. Ryan Smith said, "Dude, I'm playing that in August in Macklin, Saskatchewan."
Yeah, Macklin's where the World Championships are.
No.
Home of the world's largest bone.
I have a friend from Macklin. One of 10 people that lives there.
He'd know Bannock.
He probably does.
Well, absolutely he does.
I have one other thing to bring up, then we can go.
Okay.
We were just talking about other sports. I was at the farm on Sunday, and I managed to get a game of cricket going.
I did see Andrea post about that. That was great. Also, this is
unreal.
Bannock. So you got to hit. So you have red ones, and you play 4v4. You can play 2v2, but anyways. So you play 4v4. Everyone has 2 red bones, and then you got to knock the black ones down first. And once you knock down the black ones, you got to knock down all the white ones. First team to knock them all down wins.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Redbone. Good song.
Good song.
And it's like my team goes, your team goes.
Yeah,
my
back
team
and
goes,
forth.
your team goes.
It's so much fun.
That
And
actually looks
we just
good.
get tanked.
So those are bones, real bones.
Well, they're fake, but it was inspired by using real horse bones.
Wow.
Russian soldiers, I think,
What
used to do it.
sports used to be. Now here we are talking about cap and how the Oilers can get. Times used to be much simpler.
Yeah. No one said in the chat that they're
No one's going. Now
no one's
that is
coming
a
to
shock.
Bashaw, hey?
Redbone is not a rapper; it's a song by a rapper.
Connor just said, "See you there, Tyler."
In Bashaw, Connor. Hell yeah. I can't wait to meet you.
Yep.
I'll be wearing some sort of baseball jersey, probably. Okay.
Sure. There you go. Sebastian Aho to Pittsburgh.
The not good one.
Yeah, the defenseman.
Yeah, the defenseman. Okay. Thanks for tuning in today, everybody. Shout out to Betway. Shout out to Greta, Short Power Sports and Marine, Star Mechanical. No one on the guest line today. We'll get to that on Friday. Short for the Giants, Spring Financial. Have a little bit more on that later. Winners and losers coming up on Thursday's edition of the show. Sorry, not Friday. So giddy up. Enjoy your Tuesday. Enjoy your Wednesday. And we'll chat with you noon Mountain Time on Thursday. Oil up.
Thank you for watching Oilers Nation Every Day. Hit the subscribe button to never miss a show. And for more, visit OilersNation.com.